Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United are in advanced talks to sign Boubacar Kamara as first transfer of the Ralph Rangnick era. According to El Nacional, Boubacar Kamara is close to joining Manchester United. Barcelona have also been interested in him. Revert back to deadline day last summer, Boubacar Kamara was close to a move to the Premier League because Newcastle and Wolves were interested. Boubacar Kamara is at Marseille. He's been at Marseille all his life. He joined Marseille at 5 years old in 2005. So he risen up their academy. He's been in Marseille's senior squad since 2016. He's made over 100 appearances for Marseille. His current contract at Marseille expires in the summer. Boubacar Kamara is the age of 22. So he's still young, he's got a lot of development in him. He's predominantly a defensive midfielder, but he can be deployed as a centre-back. Now, as you all know, Ralph Rangnick told bosses at Man United that their midfield is weak in his interview for the job. There's quite a few other players that Manchester United have been interested in. Obviously, you know the news on Amadou Haidara. He said not so long ago that Amadou Haidara could be the first signing of the Ralph Rangnick era. And Amadou Haidara did admit that he's a Manchester United fan and he's also a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. Amadou Haidara has a £33 million release clause. Obviously, Ralph Rangnick knows the player well because Rangnick used to manage RB Leipzig. And revert back to earlier on in the season, Rangnick said that he wants Amadou Haidara as his first signing as Man United manager. Antonio Rudiger, Manchester United have also been in for him. I said Rangnick could be an important factor in Man United's chances of signing Antonio Rudiger. Rangnick knows Rudiger's agent and brother very well, so that's beneficial. Revert back to earlier on in the week, Antonio Rudiger reportedly rejected a contract extension offer from Chelsea. Rudiger's current contract expires at the end of the season. Revert back to earlier on in the week, it said Real Madrid were in talks with Rudiger. Bayern Munich and PSG have also expressed an interest. Now, I would take Rudiger at Manchester United. You know, they would complement each other very well, Rudiger and Raphael Varane in our back line. Rudiger's been at Chelsea since 2017. Chelsea paid around £29 million for him from Roma. And Manchester United have done transfer business with Chelsea before. Revert back to 2017. Manchester United got Matic from Chelsea for around 40 million. And revert back to 2014, Manchester United got Juan Mata from Chelsea in a deal worth 40 million. Frankie de Jong, he's also been on Manchester United's agenda as well. Yesterday, Fabrizio Romano provided us with an update on Frankie de Jong. He said Manchester United have not yet held any talks. Revert back to earlier on in the week, Frankie de Jong's father did admit that Man United have a disadvantage in the transfer pursuit, something to do with the bad weather, his father said. Barcelona got Frankie de Jong from Ajax back in 2019 for around £65 million. Manchester United are also in for Erling Haaland. It recently said that Man United are currently only the serious bidder for Erling Haaland, but will have to qualify for the Champions League to get Erling Haaland. Haaland has a £64 million release clause. Jude Bellingham and Calvin Phillips have also been spoken about. Ralph Rangnick has been given a £100 million transfer budget for January, so he can get quite a few players out of that. And Rangnick needs to heavily invest if he is to succeed as Manchester United manager. You know, Rangnick is Manchester United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then after that, Ralph Rangnick will continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. You know, if Rangnick does well as the interim manager, there's a chance that he'll get the Man United job on a permanent basis. I think Ralph Rangnick has enjoyed a good start to his managerial career at Man United. You know, so far he's unbeaten. You know, reflecting on the win against Norwich last weekend, that was back-to-back wins in the Premier League for Ralph Rangnick. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Now, as you all know, Ralph Rangnick is planning a big clear-out. Next year. There's quite a few players that are going to leave Manchester United next year. You know the news on Anthony Martial. Revert back to the other week. Anthony Martial's agent confirmed that Anthony Martial wants to leave Manchester United in January. Because obviously Martial wants more game time. He's getting nowhere near enough game time at Manchester United. He's only made, 2 starts in the Premier League this season. Not so long ago, Ralph Rangnick revealed that he's not spoken with Martial. Rangnick told Martial to speak with him directly if he wants to leave. Now, I'm hearing that Juventus want Anthony Martial on loan. Atletico Madrid have also been planning a swap deal for Martial. Barcelona have been in for him. Newcastle have also been in for him. I'm not too sure where he's going to go. But Manchester United have set their asking price for Martial. It's £30 million. Martial has only enjoyed one good season at Man United, and that was his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial's been at Manchester United for 6.5 years. He's scored 79 goals in 268 appearances in all competitions. Anthony Martial has got 3 years left on his contract. Manchester United paid an initial fee of 36 million for Martial back in 2015 from Monaco. Martial's actually got an injury at the moment. Now, yesterday I gave you the news on Edinson Cavani. Edinson Cavani is leaving Manchester United next month. He said Edinson Cavani will join Barcelona in January to replace Aguero. Aguero recently retired due to heart problems. Now Barcelona have offered Edinson Cavani an 18-month contract. Edinson Cavani's already said he's willing to terminate his contract at Man United to go to Barcelona. Edinson Cavani rejected Boca Juniors. Now, should Cavani go next year? Well, I think Cavani's made an impact at Man United. Cavani's got an injury at the moment, but he is close to returning. Cavani had an injury earlier on in the season. Well, Cavani initially lost his place in the team with the club re-signing Ronaldo last summer. Cavani's current contract expires next summer. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG. You know, he's got a good pedigree behind him. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at PSG, Cavani. Not only that, he was a long-serving player when he was at PSG. Jesse Lingard, looks like he's going in January. Manchester United want £20 million for Lingard. Not too sure where Lingard's going to go. Newcastle have been interested in him. I heard earlier on in the season that Newcastle were preparing a contract offer. Earlier on in the season, it said West Ham are interested in re-signing Lingard. At the second half of last season, Lingard enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. And I heard earlier on in the season that he wants to go abroad. Lingard has been part of the club for a long time. You know, he risen up our academy and that. He's had his good periods at Man United. He's also had his bad periods. But he doesn't really get in the team, does he? The BBC said earlier on in the season that Lingard's future at Man United is in doubt after talks over a new contract collapsed. His current contract expires next summer. Juan Mata, I think he's also leaving next year. Mata's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Because revert back to earlier on in the year, Juan Mata signed a 1-year contract extension. I can't understand why we extended his contracts for the third year because Mata doesn't really get in the team. Plus he's ageing up and he's lost that yard of pace. But despite that, he has had a good career at Man United. You know, Mata's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored over 50 goals. And Mata's been at Manchester United for 8 years, so he's been a long-serving player. Manchester United got Juan Mata from Chelsea back in 2014 for £40 million. Paul Pogba, you know, Manchester United could sell him next month. You know, Rangnick has already said that he won't try to convince Paul Pogba to stay at Manchester United if he wants to go. As you all know, Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Revert back to the start of the season, he rejected a new Man United contract offer. Pogba's been out for a while with a thigh injury. He got the thigh injury in France training earlier on in the season. Pogba's out with his thigh injury for the rest of the year. But he has been stepping up his recovery. But he has been a big miss for us because revert back towards the start of the season, Pogba was in scintillating form. You know, Pogba's got 7 assists so far in the league this season. Revert back to the last couple of months of last season, Pogba produced good performances. But at one point last season he was out with a thigh injury for a while and he sustained some ankle injuries at Man United. Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked to Real Madrid. PSG have been in for him. Barcelona have been in for him. His former club Juventus have been in for him. He did endure 4 exceptional years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United. And Inter Milan have been in for him before. And Paul Pogba's agent, Mino Raiola, has been working hard now for quite some time to get his client to move away from the club. This season has been Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he rejoined. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far, and Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. We had Paul Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but had to let him go due to limited appearances. Nemanja Matic, I think he'll leave next year. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities. Surprisingly enough, Matic has been ahead of Van der Beek in our midfield. Matic is the only predominant centre defensive mid that Man United have got. I've always had my reservations about Matic because he's always been a static midfielder and he's ageing up. But despite that, he has had his good games at Man United. Manchester United got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017 for around £40 million. Not so long ago, Matic had a cold. I think our second choice fullbacks, Telles and Dalot, could leave next year. I think Phil Jones and Eric Bailly will be leaving next year. And the news on Dean Henderson the other day, Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Dean Henderson wants to leave Manchester United in January to get more game time. Henderson has only made 2 appearances this season. He doesn't get in goal much now because revert back to last summer, De Gea reclaimed the number 1 spot back. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Henderson had COVID for a while. But towards the end of last season, Dean Henderson got that number 1 jersey, didn't he? And he did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season. Henderson's got that experience behind him because he endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield. He's also had other loan spells before, with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. Before the start of last season, he signed a 6-year contract with Man United, so reflecting on that, he committed his future to the club. And Amad Diallo, I think there's a good chance that he'll be going out on loan. So there you go. By the way, I just want to give you some news on Marcus Rashford. According to reports from Spain, Marcus Rashford is keen on a shock transfer to Barcelona. PSG are also said to be interested in Marcus Rashford. Now, Marcus Rashford has endured a lot of poor games since he come back from that shoulder problem. He did miss the first 2 months of the season due to that shoulder problem. I think Ralph Rangnick needs to drop Marcus Rashford because he's not been the same player since he come back from that shoulder problem. Has he? Marcus Rashford has been part of the club for a long time. He's been a United player since the age of 7. He's been in our senior squad since 2015, 2016. Don't forget, Marcus Rashford scored 2 goals on his first team debut in the Europa League against Midtjylland. Then he scored twice on his Premier League debut against Arsenal back in February 2016. Marcus Rashford also scored in his first Manchester derby. Rashford scored on his Champions League debut and his EFL Cup debut. At Manchester United so far, Marcus Rashford has won the EFL Cup, the Europa League, the Community Shield, and he's won the FA Cup as well, hasn't he? Marcus Rashford has got a contract with Man United until 2023, so he's got 18 months left on his contract. Now, earlier on this week, the Premier League confirmed that Manchester United's game against Brighton got postponed due to COVID. Manchester United had 2 games postponed, not even in a week. So Brighton got postponed, and earlier on in the week, Brentford got postponed. Revert back to earlier on in the week, Manchester United were hit with 19 new COVID cases, because Man United reopened the Carrington training ground, as Manchester United's first team players did return to training earlier on in the week. Well, revert back to Monday, Manchester United shut their Carrington training ground because of COVID. Obviously, the games against Brighton and Brentford are going to have to be rearranged. A lot of games have been postponed, not just Manchester United's. Manchester United play Newcastle on the 27th of December. That game should go ahead. Now, not so long ago, I gave you the news on Kieran McKenna. The other day, Kieran McKenna left Manchester United, and now Kieran McKenna is the Ipswich town manager. He signed a 3-year contract with Ipswich. Like I said, I hope Kieran McKenna all the best at Ipswich. Kieran McKenna was Manchester United's assistant for 3 years. Edwin Van Der Sar, you know the news on him. Edwin Van Der Sar leaves the door open for the Manchester United job. Edwin Van Der Sar has said that he's very happy in Amsterdam, so reflecting on that, he's ruled out a return to Manchester United. The other week, he said Edwin Van Der Sar expects a future role at Man United. Edwin Van Der Sar has worked as CEO at Ajax since 2016, so he's been with them for around 5 years or so now. Edwin Van Der Sar is a former Man United goalkeeper. Not so long ago, Van Der Sar spoke about Man United's interest in Erik ten Hag. I can assure at the end of the season that Manchester United will get a permanent manager. There's been quite a few names linked with the permanent role at Man United. So Erik ten Hag has been linked with a permanent role at Man United. Revert back to the other week, Roberto Mancini was mentioned. Pochettino's been mentioned quite a lot. And revert back to earlier on in the season, Brendan Rodgers was mentioned as well. But I initially disregarded Brendan Rodgers because earlier on in the season, Brendan Rodgers dismissed links to the Man United job as he come out and said that I'm proud to be at Leicester. Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson. Manchester United sacked David Moyes after 10 months. Man United finished 7th under the David Moyes era. I think that's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. Then Man United sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup. Then Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. Mourinho did enjoy one good season at Man United because he did win 3 trophies in his first season. The 3 trophies he did win was the Europa League, the EFL Cup and the Community Shield. But the reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, because the board weren't getting the players that Mourinho wanted to recommend in. And Mourinho also had bad disputes with the top players. And nearly a month ago now, Manchester United sacked Solskjaer following the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Solskjaer was Manchester United manager for almost 3 years. But like I say, no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club, no matter who our manager is. And in that aspect, we've got to accept it. You know, Alex Ferguson's the greatest manager of all time. Ferguson brought success to Manchester United because he won 30-odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. But there again, Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. So it does take some managers time to settle in. You know, Alex Ferguson was at Manchester United for around 26 years, so reflecting on that, he was a very long-serving manager. The only mistake Ferguson made was recommending David Moyes in when he retired, but the reasons he did that is because Ferguson had a lot of time for Moyes, and plus they're both Scottish. You know, before Ferguson, Man United weren't that good because weren't that good under Ron Atkinson, weren't that good under Wilf McGuinness either. I think Wilf McGuinness was with Man United for around 18 months, and we certainly weren't good under Franco Farrell. You know, Man United got relegated under Franco Farrell back in the 1970s, which is 40 odd years ago now. Manchester United have brought a good 40 odd players in since Ferguson retired, and Man United must have spent over £1 billion. You know, let me also put into the equation that Rangnick is inheriting players that other managers have brought in. So he's inheriting, you know, players that Solskjaer brought in. He's inheriting players here from the Mourinho era, because there is still some players here from the Mourinho era. There's still some here from the Van Gaal era. There's still Matter here from the Moyes era. There's only 2 here from the Ferguson era he's inheriting. That's Phil Jones and David De Gea. So there you go. And you know the news on Donny van der Beek. Donny van der Beek will not be allowed to leave Manchester United next month, as Donny van der Beek is valued by Ralph Rangnick. I'd just like to see Donny van der Beek get a lot more starts, because Van der Beek gets nowhere near enough starts, does he? You know, revert back to when we had Solskjaer, you know, Van der Beek was very frustrated because he wasn't getting enough opportunities. Towards the end of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure, Van der Beek said that he wants to leave Man United in January. You know, Van der Beek has only scored 2 goals for the club, and he's been at Manchester United for over a year and a half now, and this season's been his second full season at Man United. Man United got Van der Beek for 40 million with add-ons included. Van der Beek's got a contract with the club until 2025. There's an option of a further year, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. So there you go. So anyway guys, more videos coming up later on. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very soon.